Nectari demo. My name is Adrian Carranza, the Director of the Sage 500 ERP practice at SWK. And presenting with me today is Guy Girard, the Senior Product Manager of Tangerine Software. Please note that the webinar is being recorded, and during the webinar, if you have any questions, please feel free to type them in the chat box, and we will answer them during the Q&A portion of the demo. And with that, if we could go on to the next slide. All right. So let's talk about what Nectari can do for your business. Nectari is a self-service business intelligence tool, and it can help you by reducing the time spent on business analysis and reporting, empowering users to analyze and report on financial and operational data independently, simplify and accelerate the distribution of relevant information across the organization to improve visibility and collaboration, and most importantly, it is engineered for performance, so it can work very well with large data sets. Next slide, please. The key thing to keep in mind about Nectari is that it is one comprehensive solution that is easy to use, and it does this by utilizing multiple interfaces. Those interfaces are the Web BI, the mobile app, and the Excel add-in. Next slide, please. But before we get into the demo, let's go through some high-level key benefits and features of the different interfaces that Nectari has to offer. The first is the Web BI. The Web BI has an intuitive user interface that allows real-time access to Sage 500 data and other data sources. This makes it easy to share information across the organization. It also has a centralized security layer, the ability to create KPIs and dashboards, drill down features that allow you to drill down to transactional data from within the interface, a data entry layer if you wanted to do some data entry, for instance, when you were doing budgeting. And it also has the ability to manage data warehousing and the consolidation of information from other databases through an OLAP. Next slide, please. The next slide we have here is the mobile interface. The key features and benefits are it has anywhere, anytime BI functionality, so you'll have real-time access to the data from any device. Fingertip analysis with KPIs and drill downs, worry-free secure access through the mobile interface, immediate visibility of key business information, and this improves collaboration and decision-making while on the go. Next slide, please. Lastly, we have the Excel add-in. Key features and benefits are a seamless integration between Excel and multiple data sources, increased productivity by eliminating manual entry if you're managing data to Excel sheets, access to live enterprise data securely from within the Excel application. It has the ability to produce real-time financial statements and other reports quickly. You can drill down to transactional data through the Excel application. You could also consolidate multiple data sources into your Excel worksheets. And finally, you can utilize the advanced pivoting capabilities within Excel and Nectari to slice and dice the data. Next slide. And with that, we're going to get into the product demonstration, and I will hand it over to my colleague.
So hi, everyone. So like Adrian was saying before, there are three different interfaces for the Nectari product. So the web interface, the mobile, and the Excel add-in, and we'll go through each of these interfaces one by one. So we'll start with the web interface. And I will start it directly inside Google Chrome, but it do work as well in Internet Explorer and Firefox. And if you got a Mac, it will work as well in Safari. So let's authenticate myself as the security administrator, so I will have access to everything in order to show you all the options available inside SCI. But we have also a good security layer in Nectari. So on the left side, we have what we call the command center. So it's really where in Nectari you got all your views that is stored and organized, and you can have them organized the way that you want. But what you see actually is what is delivered out of the box for a Sage 500 customer. So day one, when we install Nectari, you got all these views, template, dashboard delivered out of the box. So I'll just open them quickly just to show you what is there, and then after that I'll show you how to navigate inside these views and graph and dashboard. So in the sales area, there's a lot of information, of course, related to sales. So all the invoices, sales history, returns. We got also a logistic here with the picking, the stock status, the RMAs, the inventory, of course. In the finance, we got few as well. So you got your cash management, your GL account transaction, your history, AR payment, budget analysis. So everything related to finance that could be useful for you. Manufacturing. So as you can see, there's a lot as well. So all your work order, MFG, production, estimates. And same for purchasing with your order, your history payment, buyer, vendor information. And finally, the project accounting, where you got the same type of template as well. In each of these templates, if I open as an example sales history, you got really what we call views. So a view could be a grid, it could be a graph, a map, a gauge. It's just different way for you to look at your data in order to find your information. And inside the dashboard area that we will see later on, you can mix any of these views together from any of these different type of information. So sales, inventory, manufacturing, you can mix everything inside a dashboard. I was talking at the beginning about the security. The command center itself will get adjusted based on your security settings. So when you log inside Nectari, you will only see what you have access to. So if you're not having access to the finance folder will not be displayed to you. Okay. And when you open a view, let's open the first view here, sales statistics. We got also security on the column level. So in that case, I see a lot of information. So my quantity, net sales, cost, profit, etc. Maybe you would like to put some security on the column so that some of your users can see only the quantity as an example, and other user can see the quantity and the amount, and maybe another group of users will see everything. So you can do that. And instead of creating multiple versions of the same report, you can only have one that will be adjusted automatically when you open it based on your security settings. Inside the view, you see that I got multiple drill down level here, so the year, month, etc. You can have also security on the data itself. So if you would like, as an example, to give to your sales rep the ability to see only their own customer, you could do so. So every sales rep will open the same view, but they will only see the column that they have access to, but also only the customer that they have access to. In the financial area, you may want to do a security based on the department or another GL segment. So each manager of the department XYZ see only the data of this specific department. Okay. That being said, now we'll see how we can manipulate that data and how we can create new views and find the information that we are looking for. First thing that you can do is drag and drop columns around. So if you want to change that layout, you can just drag a column, move it, and release it, and it will just reorder the column in your grid. If you want to remove a column, you're just clicking on the X, and you can do the same thing from your organizer in the bottom right section of the view. So if I go in the bottom right section, I could select, as an example, the return amount here, the net sales quantity, the cost and amount. Let's just keep these three fields. I will remove these four fields in one action. So now I only have 3 fields. The top section represents my grouping, my drill down level. So I got my year, then my month, my country. So if I explode my year, I'll see my month inside that. Inside my month, I'll see my country, then my city, my customer code, my item code inside that, and so on. So you can have as many drill down level as you want. And you can, of course, change them and reorganize them. As an example, I could remove the month, the country, the city. And from my list of dimension and measure that I have access to, I could pick anything that I want. So let's pick the sales rep and move it anywhere in my current analysis. So now, by year, I got my sales rep. Inside the sales rep, I got my customer, and then finally my product for that customer. So very easy to just redesign a view just in a few clicks the way that you want. If you're happy with that, then you can just save that view. So I'll go in the Save button here. And because I'm the administrator, I can just override that existing view. But if you're a regular user, you can play with that, no problem. You don't have to be afraid. There's no danger that you change something that you should not change. It's all through security. So if you're not the administrator, the Save button will only be available to you if you're the owner of the view. If you're not the owner of the view, you will only be able to do Save As. So you will do a Save As, and then you will put a new name, Demo Nectari SWK Customers, as an example. So you put a new name here, and you can choose to who you want to publish that. So who is the other people that will see that view in the comment center? You could publish that for none. It means that it's only you that see it. It's not published for anybody else. Or you could have Star Public, everybody that have access to the sales history. Or it could be the marketing group, the finance group, the sales rep USA, etc. So it's based on the group that you have created before. So I'll just say OK here, and I will get a new view called Demo Nectari SWK Customer. So if I close that and I reopen that view, the data will continue to be real time, but it will be displayed with the layout exactly how that I did save before. So only these 3 columns, and now it's grouped by sales rep and customer and item. So again, very easy to change the layout of a report. And by the way, what I'm doing actually, you can do the same manipulation in any area. So it could be also for your inventory, for your invoices, for your work order, purchase order, your finance stuff. So it does not matter. Everything that I'm doing in the next few minutes can be done in an area of the software. So next thing that I will do is add some KPI. So I want to put a specific alert. As an example, when my margin is not good enough. So I would like to have something in red, something visual that tell me that my margin is not high enough. Or maybe in the inventory, I would like to have something visual when my inventory is too low, or when my actual is over my budget or way too much under my budget. Okay, so it could be applied to many different areas of your data. So I will just right-click on profit, and I will do column formatting. There's actually no rules defined, so I will create a new rule. And I will say that when my profit percentage is less than something like 23%, I would like to have a specific icon. I can change my font color if I want, my background, my font size. So I have multiple options here. And then I can create multiple different rules. So it could be between 23 and 30, between 30 and 60, etc., etc. In my case, I'll just create 2. I'll keep it simple. So I will just say when it's greater or equal to 23%, I would like to have now a green bullet. So I got 2 rules. I'll confirm, and I will get these KPIs showing up in my grid. And they will be there at all the levels if I did create the KPI that way. And of course, if I save that view, and I close and I reopen, these KPI will still be there and apply everywhere. And they are, of course, always reevaluated based on the data that I have that is real time inside my grid. Next option that I want to show you is what we call the pivot. So if I want to get a set of columns for all the value of a specific dimension side by side. So I could do it on my year, so I will have my year side by side, or I could use something else. So let's go in my list of dimension and use something like my country. So I will bring my country in the pivot section, and now we'll have one set of columns for each country. So Canada versus USA, If I explode, I can continue to drill and find my information to see if my sales rep sell in more than one country or territory or state. Okay. I can also, if I want, add the grand total for all my countries. I will just right-click and do Show in Pivot Total, and it will give me a grand total for all my countries. If I notice something that is not that good, so let's say Jeff here, 21% of margin, it's not high enough. I was expecting more from him. So, and I want to share that information to him or to somebody else so that they can look in detail on what is going on. Maybe one of my customers, the margin was not done properly, or, you know, you want to analyze more in detail your information. We got multiple options inside Nectari to share the information. And the first option that we have, it's very, very basic. It's just by doing a file and print. The second option is by doing an export to PDF, HTML, and Excel, and then after that, you can use it or send it by email. The third option is by using the edit comment feature. So you press on the edit comment, and then you can use your pen as an example and circle that 21% here, put a question mark. You could add some text anywhere and just add something. So why is your margin is that low? Okay, and then you can just send that by email very quickly. So it will send that specific screenshot with your comment on it to the people that you want. So very easy to share the information to other people. The fourth option, it's the distribution module. So we got a module where you can distribute reports. So anyone, so a grid, a graph, a dashboard, even the Excel add-in part that I will show you at the end. You can schedule them and send it based on a specific schedule, of course. So let's say every Friday morning, every weekend, every end of the month, I want to send these reports. And there's two ways of achieving that. As a regular end user, without having to call the IT or SWK, I could just right-click and do subscribe for distribution. And then I can just put a description here, choose the format that I would like to receive that report that I just did create. So I would like to receive it in PDF. And then the subject and email, the subject and body of my email that I will receive, and the schedule. Do I want to receive it only one time tomorrow at 9 a.m., or I want to receive it every day at a specific time at the day, or every Saturday and Sunday, or maybe every X month, or every first, last, and 15th of every month, or maybe every first Monday of every month. I do my subscribe, and automatically I will receive that report with the up-to-date data in my inbox in the format that I did select. As an administrator, I can do massive distribution. So I can go in the administration pane in the scheduler, and then I can create massive distribution here. You can put your description. You can choose your web view. So we did create something SWK, demo Nectari SWK. Maybe you want to send as well an aging, customer aging balance, maybe something related to your budget versus actual. And I mean, you can send as many reports as you want, an inventory report as well. You can choose the format for each of these individual reports. You can also choose the environment if you do have more than one, let's say your test environment, production environment. And you could also edit the filter. I want to send that report, but only for the year 2014 or only for that specific site or department or something like this. So instead of creating one view that selects specifically the data that I want, you can send the generic view, but in the distribution, when you schedule it, you choose the data that you want to send. We can also distribute in the same email, at the same time, some Excel add-in views. So I could include an Excel file, some specific sheet, balance sheet, income statement, etc. Choose the format for that, and then put some dynamic parameters. So you could include that as well, and you will see the Excel add-in at the end. Then after that, you choose who you want to send that, to Guy, myself, to the finance group as an example. The condition, I'll come back. So the same email, subject and body, and the same schedule here. So automatically it will send to all these people, all these reports that you did select. The condition is to put here as an example from 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. every 30 minutes, run the distribution. And it will check for a specific condition. If my inventory is under 5 units, then you send the report. If not, you don't do anything. So you will just receive something if your condition is true. Okay? So two things here to keep in mind that is very important. The first one is that it will take into account all the user settings. So the first user settings that it will check is the language of the user. So you can send a distribution to 50 people. Maybe you will get 25 of them that speak English, 25 Spanish or French or something else. Then it could generate the report in different languages. Okay, so they will they will generate two versions of the report automatically for you and send it to the proper language to the proper people. After that, it will take also into consideration all the security of the user. So in the case of sales, if you send that to 50 sales reps, and you did set up security so that each sales rep receive only their own customer, then you can send one report to 50 sales reps, and automatically in the background, it will split the report and create 50 versions if it's required. So everybody will receive only the data that they should receive. If it's finance, maybe they will receive only their own department, etc., etc. Same for the column. So you don't have access to the margin, you don't receive it. Okay? So this will allow you to create one distribution to many people of only one version of the report, and the module will take everything into account and generate everything for you automatically. Second thing to understand is about the licensing. So when you are in the software, you're using a license. So if you go here and you open views and you're changing the grouping and playing with the data, you're using what we call a concurrent user. It's not name user. You can create 1,000 users in Nectari if you want, but if you did purchase 10 concurrent users, you can have 10 people in the same time playing with the data. Okay. For the distribution, if you got the distribution module, even if you only have 10 users, you can still distribute to 1,000 users if you want. Why? Because they will receive a static copy, so they will receive a PDF or Excel. So it's no more real-time data, so we allow the distribution to as many people as you want. Okay. So that was for the distribution part of Nectari. Next thing that I want to show you is how to select your data, so how you can find exactly the information that you're looking for. So you will want to analyze specific information. So a specific territory, specific group of product, region, anything like that. So if I add, as an example, the country here, and I explode my year, and I say, oh, I would like to have only USA. You can, if you want, select only USA and just do add to filter. It will automatically filter on the country, as you can see at the bottom of the screen. And in both years, you will only have USA now. You can even remove the country now from your analysis. You're sure that it's only USA. So now it's only the sales rep that I have in the US. And if you want to exclude something, you want to exclude Jeff and Alfred, or just Jeff, you select what you want to exclude. You select and you do exclude. So now it's only USA and not Jeff. Okay? So very easy to add or remove items from your report. That is nice, but what are you doing? What can you do when you got like thousands of customers and thousands of products? You don't want to drill inside all the levels to try to find your customer and your product, to select them and do add to filter. This is a little bit crazy. Way too much long to find your information. So we have other feature for that. The next one, it's pretty easy to use. You just right click on any type of information like the customer and you do show prompt. And it will give you all the list of customers that exist in your system. And then you can do a filter with starting with anywhere, exact value. So I'll do anywhere and I will look for anything that contains all the bar as an example. Oh, I got 2 customers for all the Baran. I can add to the existing filters. I will do an apply. And now it will be only USA, not Jeff, but only these 2 customers. So this is my result. And you saw that the KPI and profit percentage has been adjusted automatically. It's now in red. I could, instead of adding to the existing filter, just do filter by. So it will override. So now I have all my years, but for only these 2 customers. Okay. You could also go at the top here and just select anything else. Even if it's not in the current analysis, you could select something like I don't know, the product line code. I don't know if I got many here for. So even if it's not in my analysis, I could select something here and then do my filter on that. Okay. So let's select Apple and SIS. So I will do apply here, and now I get my data for only these two product lines. Okay. Does not need to be in my current analysis. I also have the advanced filter where you can edit manually the filter, do date calculation, things like that. So it's a bit too long to show, so I will bypass this one as we only have like 1 hour today. So once you have a filter that you like, you can save the worksheet with the filter if you want. So every time that you will reopen that view, it will be open and refreshed, but it will only show you these two specific product lines. Or you can just save the filter alone. So I will do here two product lines. I don't remember the product line, so let's just put two product lines, and I'll say OK. Now I got a small funnel here. I can apply that filter to any view that I have in my command center. So if I reopen sales statistics because I like that layout, I can say great, but now I just want to have these two product lines. I'll double click here and it will filter automatically my data based on that. I just want 2008, I'll select 2008. It will filter on 2008. If I want to combine them together, I'll right click and do add to filter. And now it will be 2008 and only these two specific product lines. So you could create filter that you're always using for your analysis and apply them to any view that you want. So it's very easy to use, very fast to do, and very powerful, of course. Next option that we have, it's called the selection page. And I'll go in finance to show you that. I should have one in my GL account history. So if I go there, in your GL history, you could have a lot of information there. So you may want to filter your information before opening the view instead of opening everything and then doing filter. So in that case, I have a basic selection page that allows me to select company, fiscal year, GL account segment. So it's yourself that will choose what type of criteria that you want here. And it's by drag and dropping the field. So it's very easy to create. So in my case, I want to select some GL segments. I don't know them by heart, so I'll call my list of GL segments, and I will look for anything that contains cost. And I'll just say OK, and OK as an example. And then I will get all my information for my cost account. So if I extol my company, my fiscal year, I will get my period, and I just realized that I don't have my GL segment 1 here. So why not bringing my GL segment, you know what, right after the year. So now I got my company. Inside my year, I'll get my cost account. And inside these cost accounts, I'll get my period. So you can slice and dice information like that, add selection page to find your information very easily. And of course, you can just recall the selection page and change your criteria if you want and look for something else like revenue. And then you ask your information for your revenue account. And now I only have that specific company, and I see my revenue hardware in that case by period. Okay, very easy to find your information. Let's go back 2 seconds in the sales history in the view that we did together. I'll remove the sales rep code, and I want to show you a pretty cool feature called the link to. You can call it drill down if you want. It's up to you. But it's the ability to jump from any view that I have to any other view that I have in my command center. And by the way, actually, you see everything that is delivered out of the box for Sage 500, but you can, of course, change these templates to add more information in it, or you can create new templates on Sage 500, but also on any other data source that you may want to. So if you got the other database, other system, you can, if you want, connect to these other systems and report on these other systems with Nectari. Very easy to do. So what I want to do here is select the few customers. I got sales information. It's great. It's fine. But maybe I would like to have more information on these specific customers than just sales. So I will just right-click and do link to. And it will give me a list of all the other templates where I got the customer. Okay? So I could jump in my sales order, in my project, in my AR payment, in anything that I want. And as soon as I will open something like, let's go in my, I don't know, sales order, I'll open the sales order. it will open the view and it will filter automatically on the customer that I did select. So now I will have all my information and my year and month and customer code, and it will be only the customer that I did select previously. And then my sales order number as an example, and probably my item, and as many information as you want, okay? So it's really the ability to jump from anything to anything. And of course, it's always based on what you select. So if you select something else, like an item, then the choice that you will have will be different. So now from my item, of course, I can go in my inventory. You know, from the customer, I could not see my inventory. There's no logic link. But for an item, no problem. So now I did jump in my sales order, and from my sales order in my inventory, and I can see some information about inventory. So let's go back here. Next thing that I want to show you is the ability to do ranking on anything that you want. I want to know what is my best customer by year or by territory or by product. You can just right-click on the customer as an example and do advanced option and ask for your top 5, and based on the net sales. If you leave it in ascending, it will be your worst 5. If you put descending, it will be your best 5. So if I explode the year, I'll see my best 5 customer in descending order based on the net sales, and all the other customers group inside the other group. So my total for the year remain the same. And if I explode a customer, I'll see all my products. So instead of seeing all my product, if I want only my top 3, then I will do the advanced option on the product instead, and I'll do top 3 based on the profit instead. So let's just confirm that. So now I'll get my top 5 customer, and inside that, my top 3 product. And I mean, you can flip things around. So I will have my item here, and let's bring the country right after the year. So now I got my countries, and inside my countries, I got my top 3 product that I sold for that country. And inside that product, I got my top 5 customers if I got more than 5 that did purchase that specific product in USA. Okay, so very, very easy. Powerful again, okay? If you want to see that now inside a graph, again, everything is easy in Nectari. So you just go in view type and you choose your graph. So I want to see a gauge, a map, a bar, pie, donut, bubble, etc. So you just choose a graph like the bar graph, a pretty simple graph in that case. It will just transfer your data in the bar graph with the same grouping, so year, country, item with the same column. In that case, I want to remove my margin percentage. So now we'll have only my net sales versus my profit. And I want to change a little bit the layout. I'll call my chart property, and I'll display at the top of my bar the value instead, maybe in a smaller format, okay, like this. I can put an animation. I can go in my layout and maybe minimize my legend. A little bit bigger like this, and then change my color for expression dark. So you can play with a lot of different properties like that to change the layout of it. And of course, if I select a year, it will display me my country, my second level. If I select a country, I'll see my top 3 items. And if I select an item, I'll see my top 5 customers. So very easy to play with the data like that. And if you want, you could flip things around. So let's move the item first. So I got, whoops, right here. Before, okay. Then you get your top 3 products, and we'll save that one like this. We'll use it inside a dashboard. So top 3 products. Okay. So now in my sales history, I got a new graph called top 3 products. Next thing that I want to show you is the dashboard capability. So I'll just close that. I'll go in my dashboard, and I'll create a new dashboard. So instead of showing you dashboard that exists, we'll create one together. So you will see first how it's working and how easy it is to do a new dashboard. So let's do new dashboard here. So dashboard demo SWK customers, okay? I'll say okay. And then I'll just go from my command center, pick anything that I want. So I'll just go there and pick my list of years, my sales statistic gauge by year. I'm not too sure what I have here. My top 3 product that we did create together, maybe sales evolution and my sales rep, I don't know. I can pick anything that I want. And then after that, I will just reorganize that. So I will take my list of years, I'll put it on the top. I'll just reorganize the size. I'll take my sales rep, move it under the gauge here, resize that. The gauge, when I will do my filter, I will only have one of these gauges that will remain. And then I will move my top 3 product under the sales evolution. Once it's done, I will just change a little bit of property to make it nicer. So for my years, I will activate the filtering. So when I select something, it will filter everything. I only want to select 1 year at a time. And I want my year 2008 to be selected by default, or 2007, I get more data. I could also choose current year, but I don't have anything for 2014. For my sales evolution, I will remove my title and my legion. For my top 3 product, I'll do the same thing, and I will also activate my filtering on click. So when I select something, I want to filter everything except my total by year. For my gauge, I'll just remove my legion, taking too much space. And for my sales rep here, I will activate the filtering, remove the filtering of the top section, my title and my legion, so I'll get more space. And I'll change the color to expression dark so that it's matching a little bit more with the remaining of my, my dashboard. So I'll just save that this way. And I got now a new dashboard. So if I reopen that, it will automatically filter the data on 2007. So this is my sales by month for 2007, my top 3 product, my margin versus total sales. I can, of course, select 2008 to see my result for 2008 instead. Go back to 2007. I could select a sales rep, and then it will filter these 3. So I will see my gauge for that specific sales rep, the sales by month for that sales rep, and the top 3 product for that specific sales rep and year. Or I can select that product specifically, and then it will filter these 3. So this is my sale for that specific product, the 2 sales reps that did sold it, and the total for the year for that specific product. So you saw that it's pretty easy to do, to create a new dashboard, and automatically it's also available in the mobile device that I will show you in a few seconds. So this is it for the web interface. There are more options, of course. So we can do also map geospatial analysis. We can do data entry. So if you want to do budget entry, sales forecast, things like that, we can do that, no problem. And there's many other more small options that is also available. So what I'll do now is just minimize that, and I will just share my iPad to you. So it will take 2-3 seconds. So give me 1 second here. So the iPad should appear on the screen. I think it's, you don't see it properly. It's kind of black. Okay, give me 1 second. I'll just reinitialize the small program that broadcasts my iPad. Error server. If it's not working, I'll show it to you with another way. So, but I should be able. Let's try to. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Okay. So the mobile interface is done in HTML5. So it is working from any mobile device. So iPhone, iPad, Android, Nexus, tablet, BlackBerry, etc. It's also working from the desktop because it's HTML5. You can also access it, that same interface, from your Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, or from your Mac. Does not matter. It's working everywhere. Whoops, sorry, I just flipped my iPad. So what I'll do is just call the small button here. In fact, it's just a shortcut to a website, to my Nectari server. And it will just open the interface here. So just move that. So you will get your login screen. Of course, on a small phone, it will adapt itself, and the Nectari logo will be over the login information. But on the iPad, I got a little bit more space. So I will just authenticate myself. It's working with the same security layer. So let's just put my username, password, do my login. And then I will get the same command center on the left side. Again, I said before, but it's the same security layer. You don't have anything special to do. So if I go in sales history, you will see that I will have at the bottom the demo Nectari SWK customer view that we did, the product, 2 product lines, and top 3 product view. So if I open the demo Nectari SWK, you will see on the right side the same column, so net sales, profit, profit percentage, same KPI and same grouping. So if I select with my finger 2008 and I do drill down, I'll see my sales rep code. If I select a sales rep and I drill, I'll see my customer and my product, etc. I can also flip my grouping on the fly, so I'll move my item right after the year. So now if I select 2008 and I drill, I'll see my product, and if I select a product and I drill, I'll see the sales rep that sold that specific product. So real-time data from Sage 500 or any other database from your mobile device, so anywhere, anytime. You have also all the same dashboard. So if I go in the dashboard and I open dashboard demo SWK that we just did also together 2 minutes ago, it will be there with the same layout. And I can also filter. I can select my NEC 19 monitor and do my filter, and it will filter my data and show me my data for that specific product. So everything in real time. So that was it for the mobile. It's normal, not more complex than that. Pretty easy to use, pretty slick, and of course, in real time. So let's go in the Excel add-in now. So the Excel add-in, so for Sage 500, perfect. So the Excel add-in will allow you to bring any data from any data source in real time in Excel to do the reporting with the layout that you want. So I'll show you some examples of what you can do, and then we'll create something from scratch together. So you will understand how easy it is to create a report by yourself and to get everything in real time. So you could use your existing Excel sheet that you have that you will usually input data manually and replace that by dynamic formula, and your data will always be in real time in your Excel. So how it's working is that we have an add-in tab at the top with many options for you. And if I take a look, let's say, at this Excel graph here, this Excel graph, it's a regular Excel graph where the data is coming from these cells. And if I look at one of these cells, you will see a formula. You don't need to know that formula by heart. It's a formula built with the formula wizard. I just want to show you that it's a dynamic value, okay? And it's also using these value here to make everything dynamic. So if I change, as an example, the fiscal period from that cell, it will recalculate everything in real time. So I got my new number for period 7, so I don't have that much data here. But you see that it's refreshing everything in real time from my ERP. It did refresh my financial analysis, but also all my other reports that I have here, okay, because they are all linked to these parameters. It's only for demo purpose that I did it that way. You could have your controlling parameters on each different sheet, and we'll do one example together. So you could have your actual budget, variances this year, last year, your sales data, inventory data, does not matter. Anything that is available in your BI is automatically available in your Excel add-in. It's all dynamic. You add a custom field in Sage 500, you add that in your template in Nectari. You have it as well here in your Excel add-in automatically for you. So let's go in the income statement. So it's a regular income statement with your sales, cost of sales, your expenses, and so on. And these lists, let's say the list of GL account or GL segment 1, are dynamic. So if you do create new GL inside Sage 500, they will appear automatically in your Excel report. You don't have to go manually insert a row or add a GL account in one of your formula. Okay, it will be done automatically for you, and so everything is dynamic. So this is an example of income statement, trial balance, a financial dashboard. You can do whatever you want. And let's do one example together. So we'll go over each of these buttons, and you will understand all the options that you have. So I'll create a basic trial balance from scratch. So I want to be able to filter my data. So I want to be able to select a year, a month. So let's put a month 5 as an example. I want to be able to select a company as well. And I'll put a star, so it will consolidate all the companies together by default. And then maybe GL segment 2. I don't remember what I have there, so I'll just write GL segment 2, and I'll put a star as well. But you could have as many criteria as you want. Does not matter. And then you just put some formatting. So I'll put my account, my description, my let's say my opening balance, my debit, my credit, my posting of the current month, and my closing balance. So for me, this represents my let's say current month. Okay. So it's just to remember that we will do that. So again, it's Excel, so you format everything really the way that you want. For the list of accounts or GL segment or anything that you want, we have the data extraction feature. So that feature can be used to just generally extract data or can be used to build dynamic lists. So let's do the extraction first. So I'll choose my data source. Do I want my sales, my GL detail, my budget, anything that I want? What environment that I want to access, my production test if you got more than one. Which column I want. You just choose your column. And if you want to filter your data, you will select your filter here. We'll go back to the filter after. If you want only one of each, you want to bring back the header, so the column name here. If you want that to be refreshed automatically when you reopen the workbook or when you ask for a refresh. So I'll just say OK, and then it will bring all my data. And you see that it went pretty fast, and it did extract a few thousand rows. Okay? So it's pretty fast, pretty easy to use. It's not exactly what I want to do, but it's just to give you an idea. I will recall the data extraction, and instead of taking all my columns, I'll bring only my account code or my GL segment 1. And because I'm taking it from the GL transaction detail, I'll ask to bring back only one of each because I will have multiple posting for the same GL segment. If I'm using instead my sources instead my chart of account, I don't have to do this thing. But because I'm taking that from my transaction detail, I do need to do it. I'll just say OK, and it will bring me all my GL accounts. In fact, it's GL segment 1 with all my description. And then I want to retrieve my opening balance for that specific account for these specific criteria. So I'll call my formula wizard. I will ask for my GL detail. And then I want my beginning balance. And I want to do a sum. The sum reversal is for your income statement. You want to reverse your sales. And then you have other choice like sum debit, credit, etc. So let's just do a regular sum for now. And then I will filter my data. I want to filter on my company code. So I will select, I could of course type my company here. So CPY1 if I want. Or I could select it from my list. So all the prompt that I have in my BI is also available in my Excel add-in. Or I could use the cell picker to say, hey, my company is located in my cell B3. So it will be dynamic. My fiscal year, I'll take my fiscal year from my cell B1, my period from my cell B2, my GL segment 1 from my cell A8, and I will remove the $ before the 8, so it will become A9, A10 when I will copy that over. And my segment 2, I want to take it from my cell B4. And I'll just confirm and I will get my amount. It's a suspense account, so I think that everything will be at 0 for the first row. But you will see the number that will appear when I will copy that over. So you see now that it's a formula. So I can just copy by Control-C and Control-V and rechange that formula by pressing the formula wizard. It's not my beginning balance that I want, it's my debit in that case. I still want to do a sum, and it's the same filter. So I'll just confirm that, copy that and credit, recall my formula wizard, change debit for credit. I want to do a sum, perfect. Could do the same thing for posting, or just do a formula equal debit plus credit. And my closing equal my opening minus my posting. So you can mix and match Nectari formula with Excel formula. You could, of course, just drag that to copy all the formula across, or you could use the data extraction refresh that will refresh the list and copy the formula at the same time. I want to use the refresh just to show you that. Let's delete few rows here. If at the beginning I did create my report without these GL account because they were not there in Sage 500, and then I did create these GL or segments after. When I will reopen my workbook or just call my data extract, it will just refresh and bring back all my GL that is missing and also copy over all my formula. And everything is now dynamic. So if I change my month, it will just refresh and bring back my data for the month 6 or the new year or the company. So let's select a company. Again, I don't remember the company by heart, so I will call my prompt. And the prompt will give me all my list of companies that I have in my system. And then I can select, I want SOA. Let's say OK. And now we'll get the data for SOA. Once the prompt is defined, if you recall it, it will remember that prompt. So I can remove SOA and take COA instead. Or COA and, let's take COA and CAD. I'll consolidate just two companies together. And then it will give me these numbers. Or I could put back a star and it will just reconsolidate everything together. I can do the same thing for the GL segment. Or I can create one version of that report for each GL segment 2 that I have. So let's create that by using the duplicator. So I'll use my duplicator and ask to duplicate that for each GL segment 2 that I have. And my GL segment 2 is located in the cell B4. And then I'll press OK, and it will create me one sheet for each GL segment 2 that I have. Here, everything is at almost 0. I got a few here for my segment 230. And then I have all the other one that is the same here. Okay, they are all dynamic. And of course, if I rechange something, it's still dynamic. And if I go back to my sheet 1, it's the consolidated one. If you want to have the total for a cell, you choose that cell and you just click on Formula Drill Down, and it will bring back all the detailed information. In that case, I had only one record, but you get all the information and it will be the exact amount that you have in that specific cell. Okay, so very easy to drill inside the information as well. We have other small options here, but I just want at least, it's almost 3 o'clock, to at least show you one extra feature. It's the pivot table here. So I can just click on the pivot table to create an Excel pivot on the fly without having any knowledge on the SQL or Sage 500 how to connect. So I'll just choose my source of data. So let's select budget analysis, my environment. Do I want to filter my data or not? And then I just press OK. And I got an Excel pivot. And then I can just use my fiscal year, maybe my account type. So, and then inside my account type, my GL segment 1. And then I will, after that, select some budget amount, actual variances, etc. And because it's Excel, I can go in my design, change the layout. I can go in my analyze, create a pivot chart, calculated field, or insert slicer. I want to be able to select my company, my budget here, budget type, description, and maybe my GL segment 2 and 3 as an example. And then I will get these small slicer that will be that I will be able to use just to filter my data. I just want hardware and service for my approved budget. And I can right click anytime and just do my show detail, and it will just show my detailed information of that specific cell. So you saw how easy it was just to create on the fly. I know that I went a little bit fast, but it's giving you a good idea of what you can create by yourself and how you can use that tool from the web interface, the BI, the dashboarding, the really analyze, slice, and dice your information from the mobile and from the Excel add-in. Remember that you can access your data in real time from Sage 500, but also any other data source. And we also have a data warehouse module for the people that is having, let's say, 100 million of record in one table, and they want to have a fast access and fast analysis over these 100 million records. We have a data warehouse perfect for that, so you can access your information very quickly. So that's it for my part. So probably that Adrian wants to conclude the presentation. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Guy, for that great presentation. Well done as always. If you could just bring the PowerPoint slides back up, I would appreciate it. All right, so some of the things SWK's customers have said about the Nectari is what you see here. It's easy to use, it's much more efficient to help analyze and report on information. Accessing our ERP and other data sources in real time is a huge benefit. We do have a lot of people with legacy systems when they're moving from one system to the next, and Nectari does bring a lot to the table in terms of allowing these customers to access both data without having to incur the costs of moving historical data into new ERP systems. We are much less dependent on our IT and others for information because the users now have access to slice and dice the data. And one of them actually said, I wish we had this solution years ago, because after you start using it, it really get to see how you can really take advantage of data in ways that you weren't able to before. Next slide. All right, so just very briefly, typical training time on Nectari once you guys are interested in moving forward with the product is that we do 2 days of administrative training. So a lot of the stuff that you saw Guy doing today, that would be the stuff that administrative level users would be able to do. Then we have 1 day of end user training. So all the manipulating and the slicing and dicing of the data through the interface, and also a half day of end user training on the Excel add-in. So it's very quick to implement and learn. Go ahead, next slide, please. So now we'd like to open up the demo to Q&A. So we have taken the phones off mute. So hopefully you guys should be able to speak freely now. And please don't all talk at once. But if you have any questions or you can't seem to get over somebody else, feel free to type the question in the box, and then we could answer the questions in that order if it gets a little bit chaotic. All right, so please, does anybody have any questions regarding the product? Just in case, is anyone speaking?
Yes.
Feel free to. Okay.
No, I said somebody speaking, I'm speaking.
And Carlos, is that you?
Yeah, that's me.
Hey, Carlos. Thanks for joining.
How you doing? Oh, no, thank you. That was really nice. I like that. I like the feature with the phone. That's pretty cool.
Cool. So do you have a specific question about the product?
No, not at all. I think that your first overview when we met last week and what I saw today was really complete. I mean, all the other details, like I said to you, is just me discussing it with the people here and see if, maybe bring that product in here. Because, I mean, it has a lot of advantages that we don't have right now. It will resolve a lot of the headaches that we have right now. So, I mean, I'm interested in getting the product.
Absolutely. So we will supply contact information in the next slide, and also, obviously, reach out to me if you need to. No big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, perfect.
Cool. Thank you. Does anybody else have any questions about the product? Okay. Well, if there are no questions, I know it's a very polished presentation, so it is a lot to digest. I'd like to personally thank you all for taking time today to spend an hour with us and look at the product. We certainly appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. If you want to take the next steps in terms of moving forward with finding out more about Nectari, you can contact myself, or